Alright, so here's the before and after. You guys were correct. Most of you did say cold air intake. However, I didn't have to take the wheel off for that. I had to take the wheel off to get to the battery. The whole reason I had to take off my tire in the front was to gain access to the battery, okay? Because I had to take off that negative battery terminal. Now this is pulled out a little bit and spun around. It gets tucked back in there. There's a nice brace for it. You know, I obviously take off the tire, take off the inner, you know, whatever that is, the tire well panel, you know, this thing, plastic thing, keeps everything, all the dirt out of there. To access that battery, the reason Chrysler puts their battery up under the fender here is to keep it cooler. Keeps it out of the, you know, engine bay with all that extra heat. But it's a real pain in the butt. Instead of just lifting the hood and disconnecting it takes 2 seconds. This took a half an hour, all right, but it's finally done. Now, the reason you have to disconnect it before you're done is so that when the system's all completed and you turn the car back on and hook everything back up, the system, the computer will adjust accordingly for the air-fuel mixture. A lot of people say that, you know, cold air intakes don't do anything unless you get a tune. Not necessarily true. I talked to 3 different people. I talked to K&N for the cold air intake themselves. They said absolutely does not need to be tuned. Your car, the computer will automatically adjust once it's, you know, the battery's reinstalled. I also talked to the Mopar department at Chrysler, because Mopar has their own cold air intake that they offer. Same deal. They said it does not need to be tuned. And I also talked to Chrysler, you know, in general, and they said that if you put any kind of aftermarket cold air intake, it does not need to be tuned. All right, very important to me that I do this right. I originally thought that I would have to go get it tuned. Turns out that's not true for this particular car anyway. So there you go. But that's the reason why I have to take the tire off. A lot of people had guessed that's because, I mean, most of you guys guessed it was a cold air intake anyway. But a lot of you thought, well, okay, that's fine. It's going to put the filter down by the, you know, bumper, you know, by the fender. And I'm not going to do that. First of all, the system doesn't call for that. But, you know, like a lot of people express their concern, when it's really low like that, you're more susceptible to, you know, water splashing up on your filter, getting hydrolock, all kinds of problems. So, yeah, nothing to do with that, just had to access that damn battery. But anyway, yeah, I went with a Typhoon cold air intake from K&N. And I also got a dry bag for it, which I don't think is necessary. I'm kind of going to experiment with that. It takes 2 seconds to take on and off. It's basically just a fine mesh sock that goes over your conical air filter to keep it, you know, extra dry. I really don't think moisture is going to be an issue. A lot of you guys thought that I was taking the wheel off because I was going to have this filter way down in the wheel well, which I'm not. This creates a nice seal, you know, keeps the heat away from, you know, the actual air that's coming in, so it's a true cold air intake. Back in the day when I was way racier than I am now, even, can you believe that? I used to be even more racy. I had a Honda Accord, perfect car for that, right? And I thought I was putting a cold air intake, but I did the mistake, or made the mistake that most people make, is that I didn't have a separate box. You know, there's a heat shield. This keeps the hot engine air away from the air coming in to the car. You know, the air is coming in through the top here, this entire area. It's being sucked in all the way around. The other version without the heat box is basically a short ram intake, from what I understand. You're getting more air, sure, but it's hot air from the engine. So this should be cooler air than what's in the engine compartment. So, yeah, of course, there's going to be lots of opinions on this. Some people think it's stupid. A lot of you guys think that, you know, it doesn't need to be done. It's, you know, unless you're doing other upgrades and putting a turbo on it and this, that, and the other thing. All right, so before you guys start commenting, let me explain why I did this. What was my mindset? Why would you do this to your car? Now, first of all, before I even get into that, let me explain that I don't think this is a race car, nor do I think this is a powerful car, nor did I expect for a cold air intake to turn this into some kind of race car. I'm not bringing this to a track. I'm not racing people on the street. The reasons why I got this, and with my quick little test drive, 2 of those reasons were fulfilled. Number 1, it sounds cool. I like it. It's sporty. But it's sporty when I want it to be. When I get into the gas heavy, that's when it's sporty. Otherwise, I don't have to hear it constantly, like a loud exhaust. And number 2, something I read on the forums before, you know, when I was researching this before I even started this, was that you were supposed to get better throttle response. And I have noticed that right away. Much better throttle response, okay? I don't know how much of the intake that has to do with, as opposed to the car resetting itself as well, because I've heard people just kind of rebooting the system on these Chrysler 200s, and that kind of helps too. But I definitely notice a difference with the throttle response, which is awesome. Number 3 is gas mileage. Now, it's too early to tell that. I did a before video to see what kind of gas mileage I was getting average, and I'm going to do it again in like a couple weeks or a month or whatever and see if there's a difference. Running the engine more efficiently, getting it colder, cooler air faster should give you a little bit better gas mileage. You know, logic might say, well, yeah, if you're getting more air in there, it burns faster and you're burning through fuel faster, but apparently that's not the case. So you're supposed to get a little bit of an increase, and again, you may say it's insignificant, but if I'm getting any kind of money savings in gas, that's awesome. So those are the 3 major reasons why I did this. Now, again, people are going to suggest that this is a waste of money unless you do other things in addition to it. I would disagree. Some people get this just to get the sound. You know, 300 bucks, is it worth the sound? Well, people spend $500, $600 just on exhaust systems. That's just for the sounds. Now, I will say that this will be even better with the addition of an exhaust system. Now, I don't plan on getting a whole new exhaust system for this car anytime soon. If you're familiar with this car, you'll know that the muffler on here is frigging massive. It is extremely heavy, extremely large. So I think what I want to do in the future, nowhere, you know, in the near future, but way down the line, I want to get a new muffler for this this car. Something that's smaller, better flow, lighter. That'll save on gas mileage as well. So that's in consideration. You know, this, in addition to some exhaust work, would be even better. But this by itself, so far, I'm really happy with it. I have no errors whatsoever. It was supposed to take 90 minutes to install. It ended up taking me 2 hours. That's because I had to get that wheel off and get in the wheel well to get to the battery. But it was pretty straightforward. I mean, the only mistake I made was the kit comes with 2 different spacers for this bracket and a bolt. Now, if you have the 4-speed automatic, which this is not, this is the 6-speed automatic, it just uses the bolt provided in the kit with the spacer, boom, you're done, right? But of course, this is the 6-speed automatic, so what I had to do was use the smaller spacer and use that bolt down there. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this. So I'm using the stock bolt to mount this bracket to keep the tube, you know, sturdy. I didn't grab that bolt right away. When I read the instructions, I grabbed the other bolt on the other side. And in order to get to that other bolt, I had to take off the radiator hose, and of course I made a mess and spilled some radiator fluid, and that's all on me. It has nothing to do with the instructions. I didn't follow the instructions to a T. I started getting worried because it looked like it was going to rain and it started to drizzle, so I was freaking out a little bit. That's on me. Had I not done that and had my battery been in a normal spot, or at least a more common spot, you know, it would have been probably just like it was suggested, about 90 minutes or so. If I can do this, you guys can do this. You know what I mean? So it's an easy thing to do. It adds a couple things to your car. It makes it different. I like it. You don't have to like it. Keep that in mind. You don't have to like it, but I do. And it went in nice and smooth for the most part, and it's cool. I'm happy. So I'm going to experiment with this. I'll do some before and after videos of how it sounds for you guys, and also as far as the performance goes with the gas mileage. I'll certainly let you know if that does make a difference with you know, more testing. But I just want to show that to you real quick. I did also, another consideration for this dry bag was the fact that I wanted it yellow, because you can see I have yellow accents under my hood. So that's kind of the reason why I got that, but I'm not really concerned with water going in there. I'm really not, but who knows, it is an extra layer the air has to go through, so this dry bag is taking away, even though it's a tiny little bit, it is taking away from, you know, the air coming in. Like I said, I'll try it with it, without it, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, pretty happy with it. This is the same motor, the same 2.4 liter that is in the Dodge Avenger. I'm not sure exactly the same years, probably, I mean, this is a 2013 Chrysler 200, so I want to say probably 2012 to whatever, I don't know. You can look that up, but this kit from K&N, came directly from K&N, is for, you know, this exact motor in both those vehicles. So Dodge Avenger or the Chrysler 200. And of course you can also get it in the 3.6, which I believe is in both cars as well. The Pentastar, which is actually one of the best rated motors, you know, in 2013. But anyway, I love my little 4-banger. I don't care. Like I said, I'm not pretending it's something that it's not. It's a daily driver. It's not a race car. Right, Gus? Gus is like, good Lord, shut the hell up. Stop talking about it. So before I go, I'm going to leave one last comment for you. I know the comment section is going to be torn. Half of you guys are going to say, oh, cool, I'm glad you're happy. And the other half are going to say, oh, what a waste of money. You know what? I like it. I like it, so I'm happy with it. I'd recommend it so far. I will give you an update in the future if I still like it. Now, everything I've done to my car, every single thing I've done is reversible. I can make this car completely stock again, and that's the point. I wanted to try this out. Who knows, maybe a month from now, maybe tomorrow, I won't like it. I'll take it out and put the old one back in. Which, by the way, let's go take a look at it real quick. Show the old box here and the instructions that came with this. Which, by the way, was very, very good. K&N instructions were to a T. So here's the old box. So this was underneath the hood. The air would come in through here, fish its way down through the bottom of the box, and then through the filter, which coincidentally I did replace when I first got the car with a washable or reusable K&N filter up through that hose and down. All right. So yeah, that was the original setup. And I am going to save this because who knows, maybe in the future I want to put it back in. But it is restrictive. That's why I like the other system more. So yeah, here's the breakdown instructions. All right, shows your parts list. Make sure everything is there. Very simple, step-by-step instructions with actual pictures of my actual engine bay. So you can screw this up if you wanted to. It's 27 steps. All right, like I said, hour and a half if you don't make the same mistake I did. So like I said, so far, very happy with it. What do you think, Gus? Pretty cool? You happy with it too? You don't care. You want a treat, don't you? All right, let's go get you a treat. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.